Right, 10th of June 25 in Peterborough. That's the Bull Hotel, which I stayed in last night. It's a 4-star hotel. Forget the scaffolding, it's a very nice hotel, very posh. Off to Peterborough Cathedral next, and we're off to York this afternoon. Well, that's Peterborough Cathedral. We're in Cathedral Square. That is the Peterborough Guildhall. Got the wind muff on, see how this copes with the wind. That's a municipal building. That was built in 1660 to commemorate the restoration. And downstairs used to be a butter market, dairy market, and upstairs would be like municipal council offices. This is only a fleeting visit to Peterborough. Just wanted to see the cathedral. Over there we'll get a close-up of that. Catherine of Aragon's tomb, etc. Well, that Peterborough Express building has got, I don't know anything about that, but you've got Henry VIII up there, Prince Rupert, is that Prince Rupert of the Rhine?
The Earl of Essex, Henry was beheaded, I think.
There's some information about the Guildhall I was talking about before. Right, there you go, Sam, your favourite shop. That's quite impressive looking building. That's Peterborough Town Hall. Don't know anything about that. Well, that is Peterborough Cathedral. I'm going to do this one-handed here because I'm reading from my phone. It's one of the finest Norman cathedrals in Europe. Its 1230 ceiling still survives. It was subject to the Reformation by Henry VIII in 1541. And Catherine of Aragon was buried there in 1536 after she died, and she's still there, Henry's first wife. Mary Queen of Scots was buried there in 1587. She was later exhumed and then reburied, interred, is that the word, at Westminster Abbey. And both Mary and Catherine were buried by Old Scarlet. He was a grave digger. He lived to be 98 years old, and he's buried in there too. Ask anyone from Peterborough who Old Scarlet is, they'll know. He outlived, I think he lived through 4 or 5 different reigns. Just trying to get out the sun here, I had the sun right in my face. But that is quite remarkable, that Gothic structure. Right, that's the ceiling I was telling you about. 1230, did I say? One of the finest ceilings in the world. To survive this long. Well, that's where Mary Queen of Scots was buried before she was dug up and moved to Westminster Abbey. In Civil War 1643, Protestant parliamentarian troops under Oliver Cromwell destroyed everything in the cathedral, which reminded them of the old Catholic religion, which they thought was superstitious. Well, that is where Catherine of Aragon is. She's actually there. And that is an unremarkable tomb. I thought there'd be something far more splendid and, you know, a former Queen of England. I thought she'd get more than just that. And her people are actually putting pomegranates there. That was her house symbol, icon, is that the word? But yeah, that's Catherine of Aragon buried there. The clock with no face, that's for you, Dad. You're a horologist, so maybe you can tell us all about that. Right, the 11th of June, 25, we're in York. Over there, which one is it? It's our hotel. No, that one there, that's called the Queen's Hotel, that's where we're staying. And then we're on the river. Do you know the name of the river, Mum?
No, what? I think it's the ooze.
Is it the ooze? Okay. And then yesterday we sat down on those outside that pub called the King's Head. We sat there and had 2 pints of beer. I did anyway. Mum had a glass of wine. Lovely weather.
Beautiful.
And we're just going to go off to Clifford's Tower. That's York Minster up there. We're going to be doing York Minster later on.
And we'll...
We got plenty to do. We're here till Saturday, 4 days. So today is Clifford's Tower and York Minster. Well, there it is, Clifford's Tower. And I've got a dodgy knee, and I've started using a walking stick. So that'll be a challenge. Right, that is the front of Clifford's Tower. It's the largest remaining part of York Castle. Built by William the Conqueror in 1068. Of course, William came north. You've heard of the harrying of the north. And York Castle was the sort of seat of medieval power for the north of England in those days. And that is also notorious for the 1190 pogrom of Jews. Hundreds of Jews went in there to avoid the pogrom, and many of them ended up committing suicide. I think they all committed suicide, a bit like what happened at Masada. And then if I pan around, doing this one-handed because I'm reading the information, that's the Castle Museum. Now I'm in two minds whether to go into Clifford's Tower because of the stairs and my bad knee. But you will get a bird's eye view across the city and it could be worth it. I'm going to give it a go, I think. It's English heritage, it's £12. Right, well I made it up the first flight of stairs. I think that's going to be a permanent feature now. Right, Clifford's Tower. I had to get the wide lens on in here. And then on the roof, this tower is also known as the Eye of York, because you can basically see across York. And I'll be able to get the 50 to 250mm lens out when I'm on the roof. Let's head upwards. Well, I have to say that was definitely worth coming up the top. The Eye of York. That's the Minster over there. And well, you can see everything. You can see why it was a strategic vantage point militarily and for observation. This is the 18 to 55 lens. And that's a slightly better view of the Minster. Right, that's the Castle Museum from up here. This mum's gone to look around. She's been up here before. Right, 50 to 250 handheld and very windy, but I've got the wind muff on. Let's see how steady my hand is. Well, I'm down one level now from the roof. That wooden roof was obviously put there recently to allow visitors, tourists to see across the city. So if we think of the bottom of the mound outside as the ground floor, that is the first floor down there where I'm looking. This is the second floor and the roof is the third floor, so I'm on the second floor. Right, now we are at the shambles. Right, so I'm just reading my York book, and I'm just going to read a bit out of that explaining it. The houses appear to lean drunkenly towards each other in a higgledy-piggledy fashion. The top stories almost seem to touch, which is very Tudorish, very medieval. The word shambles means in a complete muddle, and derives from an early word for slaughterhouse and what is York's most famous and charming street once housed. Right, this is how England used to be, and I'm going to head down there and you'll see. And I'm afraid the ubiquitous scaffolding is prevalent, but that can't be helped. Right, yonder. Right, the best way to do this, I think, is just to walk through it. It's not stable, but who cares? Right. There you go, there's the scaffolding, unfortunately, but as you see, these the tops of the houses stick out wider than the bottoms. That is Tudor England, that is medieval England. Right, so I put that on.
That's it. Okay. You just hold still like that. Just open your fingers for me. Just keep your fingers open. Now you can make a fist for me, nice and tight like that. And the best thing to do now is to take your elbow down to your tummy, point your glove all the way up to the sky, like that. Okay?
Yeah, lovely. I'm holding her now, I can't believe it.
Well, she's not heavy, is she?
No, not at all. Hardly feel her.
She's unbelievably light. Unbelievably light.
Great.
She's a typical female, to be fair.
How do you tell?
We're looking at the heart-shaped face.
Okay.
You can see it looks like someone's got a brown crayon and drawn a border around it, look.
Okay.
So that tells us she's female.
Oh, right, yeah,
and
yeah.
on her tummy and under her wings, can you see them spots she's got?
Yep.
All those little marks and flecks, that's also typical of a female.
Okay.
If you look on that poster at the top when you get a chance over there,
Yep.
that is actually a male, so you can see there's a difference.
Right.
No darks around, no marks on the breast.
Okay. And there's the Minster. And guess what? The Minster is covered in scaffolding. Same as Canterbury, the same as the shambles. But again, it has to be maintained, looked after. Well, we're on the front of the Minster and there's a bloody great tree in the way, but never mind. Well, we're sitting in the Guy Fawkes Inn. Now, I've not researched Guy Fawkes yet, and but see, is this where he planned it, or no, he planned it in London?
I think he just was born here, he didn't know that.
Yeah, but aren't there a couple of people who make that claim? A couple of different sites that make that claim. Don't know. I need to. We just came past. We thought we'd come and have a. But that is the Guy Fawkes Inn. Imagine him sitting up there. Yeah. Amazing. Just doing a quick video diary in the Queen's Hotel in York. There's a lot of me filming, but there isn't much of me, so I do like to get the odd shots. Yes, I've got a walking stick, got a bad knee, so going to be having some time off work for my operation. and I'm going to use it to recover, lose weight and do exercise, swimming and physio on my knee. So I might be having, well, I will be having a long spell off work, but next time you see me, I will be looking very different, and that's another reason for me to film, is I want to see before and after. Thursday the 12th of June, I'm in Stonegate. We've got the Minster up there, and there's some contention about where Guy Fawkes was actually born. I think the Guy Fawkes Inn takes most of the credit for it, but there's actually a high likelihood it was actually there. That's where his parents lived. There's also another place which claims to be the birthplace. That's out of town though, I'm not going to go there. But let's have a look at the plaque. It's just that shop there, or that alleyway door down there. And we're going to go to St Michael the Belfry Church next. Just missed a couple of points about the York Minster. It was foundations were in 1220. Gothic cathedral, meant to be a rival to Canterbury. And I also missed out yesterday that Clifford's Tower, that is where Robert Aske was hanged from, hanged in chains. Which was actually part of the old York Castle, so in the Tudors it looks like he's been hanged from castle walls. Now St Michael the Belfry Church, and guess what? It's not just scaffolding, it's completely covered up. That is where Guy Fawkes was baptised. And they've actually got a copy of the baptism record in there. So I don't know whether we can get in or not, but let's give it a go. But yes, it seems to have had bad luck with scaffolding on this holiday. No, it's completely closed. That's a terrible shame. And there's the Guy Fawkes Inn again. I just want to put the big lens on and get a close up of the board. Right, just walking up High Petergate, and we came across the Bootham Bar, which is that, or the Bootham Bar Gates. And we're actually there's steps up there, and we're going to walk up there and have a look over the city. Bootham Bar, there's some information. Ah, we can go through that door. Of course you can, Malcolm. Right, let's go up. Right, overlooking a pub garden. Well, we just looked at the GPS on the phone and decided it's a lot further to walk the city walls, which I can't do now. I did it in Chester, didn't have a knee problem then, but it's quick, it's easier for us to go back to the Bootham Bar and then go back through the town centre to Micklegate Bar. Right, we're in the Fat Badger, just by the Boothgate Bar, having a J2O. Just a view from outside the city walls. Right, Henry VIII, dissolution of the monasteries. This is, trying to hold the book in one hand and read with the other. This is St Mary's Abbey. Was once one of the wealthiest Benedictine monasteries in the north. It dissolved it, but the stones didn't go to waste. They were used to build the Ouse Bridge and the county jail. And that's what is left of it today. Right, we're back on the Ouse Bridge, where we started the holiday. The weather's got windy and it's starting to cloud over. But Margaret Clitheroe was executed beneath here, or up here on the toll booth, by being crushed to death, peine for et deux. which was the standard inducement to force a plea. That was in 1586. She was actually canonised by the Pope in 1970. So it was right here, and there's a plaque. And that's the plaque. Well, that's the Micklegate bar. We're not going to walk up the steps because we did that on the other one, the Bootham. But that's where they used to put the heads of traitors on spikes. And even today, the king, or reigning monarch, has to ask permission of the Lord Mayor to enter the city at that gate. Right, we're sitting there having drinks, and I cannot be bothered to go upstairs and get my camera, so I thought I'd just film it on the mobile phone. That's where we sat on the first day, over across the road there. Across the road, across the river. And that's the view we've got from the bar balcony. Right, it's Friday and last full day in York. We're actually at Revo Abbey outside York. Well, about a 40-minute drive. And we're travelling back tomorrow, going via Burford. Well, nice one, Henry. You did all that damage to that lovely building. I mean, that is absolutely magnificent. The dissolution of the monasteries, and that was probably, Mum, was it one of the biggest ones, or?
Sure, but I'm pretty sure.
That's got to be one of the major monasteries, certainly.
140 odd monks here at one time.
Yeah, it's absolutely enormous. That's the old girl. That's just for a sense of scale. Let's go and walk round it. Right, this abbey is right out in the middle of nowhere. Very remote.
We've come to Revo Abbey, which is just about a couple of miles down the road from Helmsley. We went through Helmsley and it was so jam-packed with touristy looking people that we didn't stop. We've just come straight on to Revo. We went to St Mary's Abbey yesterday in York, and Andrew thought it was going to be just the same.
No comparison.
But there's no comparison. That was just one big wall really ruined. But this is, as you can see, ginormous.
Right, I'm up on a steep bank here to try to get the full shot in, even at 10 mils. That's what it would have looked like.
Fish, eggs and cheese were allowed on special occasions.
Sunday the 15th of June. We arrived yesterday afternoon. This is a pub and a hotel accommodation called the Bird in Hand near Witney, which is near Burford in the Cotswolds. And you'll notice that Cotswold stone. And there's our accommodation over there. We'll get a close up of that later on, but today we're off to the Crocodile Museum. They've got meerkats there as well, and then Burford, and anywhere else we've got time for. And it is lovely countryside round here. Right, we are literally in the middle of nowhere. That's why it took us a long time to get here actually. Oh, this should be interesting. No, that's not a live one. Just had my photo taken against the green screen. I think you end up with something like that.
Oh no, it looks like that, Dad.
Well, that's a person up there. This is all to scale. God blimey. That big one at the bottom is the saltwater crocodile, 6.1 metres. That is enormous.
It's not listening.
Lace monitor. It's like one of the Komodo dragon families, is it?
Oh no, it's nothing like that.
Nothing like it.
It might be the same kind of shape, but they're huge.
Hello, mate. That is the spectacled caiman. That is the Philippine crocodile. Right, these are the meerkats.
What do they eat?
I don't know, but he's on lookout duty up there. Look at him up there. Hello, fella. Well, that is a Galapagos tortoise. Just to give you an idea of scale, there's Mum over there. They live for 100 to 150 years. Well, he's not short of space.
These little meerkats, so interesting.
Right, you can actually get in there. The kids can get under there, and then they can pop their heads up on that thing there. I could do it, I suppose, but
you're not
I'm not going to. I might need someone to pull me out by my feet. Now that is an iguana. Need really to get the reflection of the sun off really to see it properly. That's a Komodo dragon. That's a better picture. So you're standing, stopping the sunlight on the window. That's an actual Komodo dragon.
Yeah, I see. All of his opening
And there's
his
Mum
eyes.
stood right near him.
He's looking at opening his eyes. If he doesn't make us leap at the window.
Right, we're in the town of Burford, in the heart of the Cotswolds. Again, you see it's all this Cotswold stone, which is absolutely lovely. The only problem is it's popular, as you see by the traffic. Absolutely chock-a-block with traffic. We're at the very bottom of the high street. Lots of quaint shops, which you'll be seeing more of.
If Mum has her way. Spider there.
And we're heading off that church down there, which Mum thinks is where the levellers preached during Cromwell's time. It's Sunday, of course, so there's a service going on. Right, let's get some footage of it before everyone comes out. I think the service is over. Right, that's the name of the church, St John Baptist, Burford. Oh, we're just at a cafe at the bottom of Burford High Street. It's a cafe. Yes. Well, we're at the top of the high street now, obviously. Get a nice shot across the Cotswolds.
Mum's moaning.
Yeah, we can't cross here, never mind. Well, that's the accommodation. Back at the pub hotel. Pub's to my left. And Mum's in that right hand door, number 9, and I'm upstairs above, one to the left, number 16. And I won't go out into the road, just in the entrance of the car park, but as you can see, we're right in the middle of nowhere.